One of the most common yoga poses or variations of a high lunge is a low lunge. But this pose I've seen become really problematic with the way that it's typically taught, because we're not encouraging our students to actually have support and to have stability within their joints, not to mention how this is impacting the lower back. So much of a low lunge is about dumping the weight forward into the front foot. This creates real unnecessary strain on this front hip flexor, and as I mentioned before, it can also create just a lot of compression, unnecessary, unsupportive compression into the lower back. We're basically getting people to go into a back bend with very little to no support. So what can you do instead? Really important that you get your students to action the legs before even taking the body weight forward. So within a low lunge, get them to first split the mat with their feet. The back leg is going to press back, which activates this glute. When this glute is activated, that supports the lengthening of this opposite area of the body, the hip flexor. When the front foot presses forward as well, you're getting this support and this stability through the front hip. Now, when these things happen together and you get your students to split the mat with the feet, then you can get them to action the movement of coming forward, but not if they're going to lose that. Not if they're just going to dump the weight into here, press forward into here, and again, get that over compression without any structural support. So the weight starts first onto the back knee, press the front foot forward and the back leg back. So you can see my front foot, it slips a little bit, yeah? So you really want to get your students to feel like they're going to move the legs in the opposite direction. Now from here, sometimes you'll have students where this glute does not actually activate with the splitting of the mat. And this is where you have to add a little bit of scoop, just a tiny bit, pulling the pubic bone slightly up towards the belly button, and that should give the activation through the glute if it's not already there. This is a really good tool to take as well to prevent that unsupported spinal extension from happening. So we've got split the mat with the feet, pulling, if need be, the pubic bone a little bit up towards the belly button so that this activates, and then as long as those two things can be maintained, then you're getting your students to explore the action of coming forward, coming forward. For me, I kind of lost it a little bit there. So I come back again, split the mat with the feet, pull the pubic bone up a little bit, then maintaining those things, then I start to come forward. For me, that's really about it right there. That is my degree of a low lunge that allows me to maintain the support and the structure. When we teach our students to low lunge by just dumping the weight forward and having the aim and the intention to bring the hips forward without all of the support, which allows the body to do that in much more of a safe and sustainable way, then we're exacerbating a problem, potentially an existing problem, or we are creating a future one for our students. This is not sustainable on the joints. It is not respectful of the body, and it is not very nourishing in the long run. Furthermore, it teaches our students to disconnect from their bodies. So get them to split the mat with the feet and pull the pubic bone up a little bit so that that back glute is active. And then only when those things can be maintained, that's when you get them to shift the weight forward. And then maybe you're adding something within the upper body on top of that. Get the foundations, and this will really be helpful for your students so that they practice a low lunge with a lot more respect for their bodies. This is more accessible, more nourishing, more inclusive, and a beautiful way to really help your students within the longevity of their yoga practice. If you like this video, please let me know and subscribe to my channel for more teaching tips like this.